Hey, your heads up to this 5-minute quickie. It's all about the fear of failure and what it's trying to do for you, which is weird because it doesn't feel good. That feeling of, or that belief of I'm not good enough that goes with it is trying to do something good for you, but it's not, is it? And I want to explain what conflict is going on at the unconscious level so we can then find a way to let it go. Okay? I think you'll find this interesting.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
5-minute quickie on quite a serious subject, I guess. It's why are you afraid to fail? And I guess we are all afraid to fail sometime, aren't we? We have that belief that maybe we're not good enough, and therefore, whatever we're thinking about doing, we are concerned, anxious, stressed about what happens if we fail. And the thing is, I'm going to tell you now, which is completely the opposite of what you're thinking, is it's a good thing. Well, it's a good thing of a kind. You see, this is what I believe. I believe your unconscious mind does this for a wonderful reason. It's trying very hard to protect you. And the way it's trying to protect you is, but if I give you this feeling, I'm your unconscious mind, by the way, if I give you this feeling that you're going to fail, I'm going to fail, get that feeling of failure, I won't want to do it, will I? And if I don't do that thing, because I'm frightened of failing, and plus I've thrown in that little belief, well, I'm not bloody good enough anyway. Well, now I've got a belief, a negative belief, I've got this feeling I'm going to fail. Guess what will happen? Nothing. Nothing will happen because I won't do the bloody thing, will I? Because I've got this feeling, this belief, limiting belief. And you see, your unconscious mind says, yeah, I've saved you. I've protected you from failing at doing that thing. Because if you failed, you might have, well, embarrassment. You might have pain, hurt. All that stuff, a bit of grief, all that stuff that could happen because you tried something and failed. But here's the conflict. Because there's always a direct conflict to the fear of failure. And that direct conflict is when you don't do anything, that stuff that you wanted to do, but you don't do it because of that fear of failure. And how do you feel? I know how I feel. I feel a failure because I didn't do it. I get that grief because I didn't do it. I get that sadness because I didn't do it. I get anxiety because I really wanted to do it and I didn't, and it stresses me out. And can you see, it's exactly the same thing, but in the opposite direction. It's a conflict. Unconscious mind's trying to protect me from failure, but it's causing me to feel a failure. And that belief of I'm not good enough, guess what? When I don't do the thing, I still don't feel I'm good enough because I didn't do it. Isn't it hard? Isn't it hard? Because that's what I do when I work with people with hypnotherapy and NLP, timeline therapy, dealing with the stress of those negative beliefs and that conflict. And we deal with conflict, and when we resolve the conflict, to say to your unconscious mind, you realize what you're trying to do is no longer working. And when your unconscious mind goes, it isn't working, is it? Then we say, well, let's find a better way. How are we going to find a better way? I haven't got time in a 5-minute quickie, but what I am going to do is a longer podcast on this so we can really dive deep into it. But I wanted you just to realize and think maybe, not maybe think, but think maybe at a time when you can just muse for a little bit, because that's what the 5-minute quickie is for, and just muse on, I think Clough is right. There is a conflict. I do feel a failure for not doing things, but I also feel a failure and not do it anyway. Now I wonder, and here's the kicker. Here is the kicker. Just muse on, I wonder what might be a better way that will enable me to do the things I want to do. What could I do So my unconscious mind, or what can my unconscious mind do to protect me in doing those things? Because I'm going to do them one way or other. I want to do them. And I don't like this feeling of I'm a failure and I'm not good enough, because that just adds more stress to me. When I'm stressful, it's not healthy. And your unconscious mind has to, I believe, prime directive of the unconscious mind is to keep you safe and keep you healthy. And in this conflict, it's doing neither. Because stress at the end of the day is not good for you. It raises blood pressure. It gives the old heart a little extra beat and things like that. And it's really not that good for you. We know that. A little bit, yeah. But not when it keeps going. Not when it keeps not when it keeps doing the same thing over and over again and causing us stress and anxiety. So that's what I'm going to dive deeper in. We'll have a longer podcast. I'll let you know when it's coming. You'll see the title, A Deeper Dive on Fear of Failure. But just have that thought. Maybe get a puzzle book out. Maybe get that little field book I told you about, a little piece of paper. And just jot a few thoughts down of how you would like to be. Or maybe in the past, how have you done different things and felt good? And what would happen if I had that feeling? Because that'll be the type of the things we'll be thinking about in the longer podcast. Hope you enjoyed that. Something to think about, something to muse, because if you do feel that way, we've got to get rid of it, because that's what we do here. So if you want, you could email me, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com, and let me know your feelings of that fear of failure, or the type of things that you would like to do that you feel that fear of failure. And we can make sure that I hit every button in that longer podcast. Okay? So it'll be a couple of weeks after this one. Okay? Anyway, enjoy, because it's time to fly. Bye-bye.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.